Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about the order coming from the White House and OMB to essentially freeze all grants and loans coming from the federal government, with the exception only of Social Security, Medicare, food stamps. Basically, it's all been completely held up, and the command has been issued not to spend it. Now, if you will perceive the calmness in my voice as I pass this along, it is directly inversely proportional to the alarm of this move, which is five alarm fire doesn't any longer capture as a metaphor what this madman is doing in just his second week in office. He is just dropping bombs onto all agencies, but also the American people. This is going to have grievous impact on the health and well-being of, well, grant recipients around the world, but Americans of all stripes. Think about HIV patients, think about all kinds of medical and scientific research, all kinds of institutions. It is just an absolute crisis for not simply the government, but individuals after individuals. He is really in short order making life directly affected and impoverished for millions and millions of people. But let's just talk about it at the government level, where it's almost certainly unconstitutional. If you give it, again, this guy, I assume had someone go to third grade for him, or never looked. But we are in such basic government relationships and checks and balances. The Congress appropriates money and says what it's for. The executive executes Congress's law. The court decides on it. So that's sort of all you have to know to know that it is of hugely questionable legality to just say, as to all money Congress already has appropriated, and instructed the executive, not Donald Trump, not Joseph Biden, the president, whoever the president might be, to do its bidding as it's constitutionally assigned to bid. And you have Trump coming in on the strength on a tissue-thin, ridiculous two-page memo from the lackey at OMB, saying that the American people have elected Trump, and he has to be sure we are efficiently using every dollar. Therefore, a temporary freeze on everything that Congress has said spend money on, and with no definition of how long temporary is. All right, we can be sure, in fact, it's already the case. There will be immediate lawsuits, efforts to freeze the linebackers here, and maybe even successful. I'll move back to that in a moment. But just the notion, the absolute indifference and complete antagonism toward the law, the Constitution, the constitutional structure that he is doing. And even if ones are struck down as they should be, it's still the shock to the system, the stress to the system, the absolute body blow to people's confidence in government, to government efficacy, to the actual assurance and sense of duty that individual government employees have, whose job it is to administer all these loans. Everything is just completely thrown up in the air, upended, and every person is thinking of only one thing, and that is Donald Trump and what might serve or disserve him. Okay, the law here then, there's a legal area. It's called impoundment, and it's a little bit uncertain in its contours because nobody has ever tried anything near this degree of complete recalcitrance and opposition and just middle finger giving to the Congress. But there is a little bit of room in the joints, it seems clear, for an executive to hold back a bit, wait a while. There's, maybe a little bit of a margin for so-called enforcement priorities and discretion. But it's never come up. But we have tons of opinion and authority, including from the very pro-executive branch Office of Legal Counsel, which you've heard of by now and has issued a series of opinions that are bolstering of executive power, that you cannot do this. And it's pretty easy to see why. Doing it is, in essence, the opposite of taking care to see the laws are faithfully executed. That's the core constitutional duty. The laws are those passed by Congress, not countermanded by Donald Trump. And rather than taking care, he's putting in huge efforts to see that the laws are violated, derogated. The people who have a right to grants and loans all through the country, and Congress that wants to effectuate federal policy has just been completely kicked in the teeth, worse really, by Trump. So this is outrageous, patently unlawful, although we're going to need a ruling. I mean, what comes up right away when you think of this is that this is likely to go to the Supreme Court, and pretty quickly. And could the court actually indulge this madman, bombardier assault? And my best guess is no. I mean, we are talking about things, this is the best role I think I have and can execute, that are, so beyond the pale that even a very solicitous Supreme Court, here's another way to put it, and this is coming up with the DOJ too. To honor this, to validate it, would be to fundamentally shred the basic checks and balances scheme of the Constitution. If Congress passes a law and then the president decides whether he or she likes it or not, we are no longer in a constitutional democracy. We are in a authoritarian society. And in these last 10 days, we are 8 days. We are moving in giant steps toward it. Some of it will be put into play just because there's no legal way or speedy enough legal way to challenge some things that the DOJ he's doing that are absolutely existential, mortal potential challenges to them, that it's very hard to see how to reverse, because it is always dependent on a certain manner of acceptance of basic norms from that people on all parties, all sides of the political spectrum, and all along it have always accepted until now. And then some that depend on norms, not laws, that he's absolutely shredded. But we're past the point of breaking glass and hitting the alarm. The fire has begun. It's a dangerous and nasty fire. I think this part of it should be doused, but then others are starting up here and there. We'll talk about them as they arise, but just to end where I started, this is some way serious stuff that is essentially a effort to completely defeat Congress's core role of passing laws and passing grants and loans, appropriating money that the executive's job is to execute And Trump is wanting to arrogate to himself all of congressional power and executive power. The country right now is being run by an absolutely deranged madman. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.